Ellie here. So, cook with me today, okay? And so, the reason I put cook in quotes is because we're doing more than just making some food, okay? I got my potato right here, and I just made some spaghettios for the other part of the meal. I'm not doing anything crazy with that today, but I really wanted to uh what's this called? What is it called with the appliance? This appliance says cooks on it. That's hilarious. Okay, and then that one says cooks too. So I really wanted to like talk about some stuff, and even with me speaking about the things I'm going to be speaking about, like when you're cooking, you want to be in the highest of vibrations, and you want to be in a good mood when you're cooking. I'm good. Like the way that I can do things and transmute energy, I'm good. So even if I do get a little bit heated, I'm fine. Because I got most of my anger out earlier on Instagram. Because the thing is, it's like, okay. Even bringing up Instagram, right? I recently started to take a break from Instagram. Let me get my plate. Hold on. Hello. So you guys, recently I took a break from Instagram because I got so many followers all at one time, and I was like, I have a lot of work to do. So I'm telling you today, I literally just caught up on all the DMs from people. So my inbox isn't cluttered anymore. So I got back to everybody over the past literally a year because everything's been crazy for a year. I just got done with that. And it's like if I was a regular content creator, it will be one thing where it's like, oh, they just have to answer a lot of DMs and stuff like that. I'm a spiritual content creator. I am a woke person. I am a person who has a business and people ask me questions. So it's not just me answering DMs of people being like, "Oh, I love you." I get those too, but it'd be people like I answered a question about someone going to spiritual court. They were like, "What spiritual court?" I think I've been there before, and I had to explain to them how the astral realm works, as far as how spiritual court works and who I am as a being. I didn't go into depth with them too much, but me as a being, I am Saturn, Jupiter, Empress. That's who I am. I am a Sagittarius Capricorn cusp. So if you know anything about astrology, you know that Sagittarius is Jupiter and you know that Capricorn is Saturn. So Saturn alone is enough, let alone being Jupiter combined with that. So I'm, you know, explaining to them what that is and helping them figure that out. And they were like, they were kind of worried about it because that's not a thing people talk about as far as spiritual court. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm not a regular content creator. I'm not a regular person. I am a spiritual individual who has a lot of knowledge and information that can help a lot of people with the esoteric, whether that be in business as well or just their spiritual life. And so I don't take that lightly. So I make sure that I either don't reply to somebody or I don't reply and I give them a full thought out answer when I am ready to reply, or I just don't waste my time even opening the message from some people. Or if I know that someone's wasting my time, I open the message and I leave it on read because I just don't have time. I don't have time for people trying to waste my time. And so that was what I was like venting about earlier, and I want to discuss that with you guys a little bit because, like, here's the thing. You know, people could feel how they want to feel. It's like, oh, she has 2,000 subscribers on here. She has 11,000 followers on there. I don't care. Like, there's a lot of people who've been doing the same things I've been doing as far as talking to people about this and that for black people and spiritual people. Yet, it's like I have the actual tools and resources for people to do the things that they need to do as far as getting what they need to get for them to be able to live their lives. And there's other people who do that too. However, I just got here. So I'm not trying to like be this person who, oh, everybody come to me for this, everybody come to me for that. It's not even like that. Whereas you have people who've been on these platforms for all these years and all this time, and it's like, okay, what are we actually doing? What are we actually doing? I'm not just trying to be up here and have all these followers and subscribers just to have them. We're supposed to be out here building communities. And I'm not talking about going to these conferences either. Like, conferences are fine, gatherings are fine. But if we're not leaving those gatherings and those conferences with the actual resources and tools needed to actually get started, we have so much information. We have tons of information. Like, I'm going to be straight up with you. All people have to do is give out book recommendations. There's just certain books you can get. Like, for people who study the Hebraic beliefs. Okay, we all know about the King James Bible. And then you have things like the Apocrypha. And then you have things like the Sefer. Then you have the Septuagint. Okay, well, there you go. For anybody who wants to get deeper on their Hebraic stuff, excluding the actual Hebrew language, there you go. That's all the text you need for that. And then you have like different resources, of course, for for certain things you do have to get different books written by certain people. You need something? You're looking at what's going on? Okay.
What's the food?
Those are SpaghettiOs. Yeah.
What's that stuff in these SpaghettiOs?
Oh, those are meatballs.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Okay. All right. And yeah, it's way more important to me that we make progress. I love why, as much as I love talking to you guys here and on Instagram, there's a reason I'm on break on Instagram. Pretty much all of Leo season, I've been on break, deliberately not talking to y'all on purpose. Because I'm like, I'm just tired of the same things happening. I dislike the fact that, because it's like, do I dislike my audience? It's not so much that I dislike my audience. For one thing, I talk to a lot of y'all in the DMs, and I be seeing y'all's pages. Y'all be having businesses going. Like, it'd be cool. A lot of y'all be cool. But at the same time, it's like, okay, how are we going to get where we need to go if people are not progressing? I mean, literally, like, if people are not progressing. Carlos King said, okay, can I have some of what you cook in my... You can eat through the portal. So I'm making... I forgot to turn that on. It's okay. I'll just leave it for right now. I'm making some diced potatoes. I had made this on Instagram a few days ago. But I'm making diced potatoes, and I had just made some SpaghettiOs. I didn't go crazy with the other dish. The other night, I had made some homemade pasta. I got some cavapati noodles and put some roasted garlic and Parmesan sauce on it. But okay, so even with that, right? With the feminists, okay, a lot of females don't even know how to cook. And that was something that I didn't know when I was younger. I found that out when I was an older teenager. So I'm 16, 17 years old, realizing that girls my age didn't know how to cook. And here I am, 25 years old. I'm in my mid-20s now. There's females my age and older than me who don't know how to cook. That's genuinely concerning, especially considering the fact that some of these females have children. It's concerning. So when people have these conversations about high value man this, high value man that, it's like, okay, for the feminine aspects, yeah, I didn't like Kevin Samuels, but I know what he was saying. However, he was steering a lot of people in the wrong way. He was saying things like, guys, you need to get your hair cut and you need to do this. And he wasn't pushing entrepreneurship or investments. He was pushing how to get a job. And even if you cut your hair, you're still going to be looked over just because you're black anyway. So, if anything, that's why I push entrepreneurship and investing. Nobody can control anything you're doing when you're investing because you have the money to do so, or you're behind the screen. So, even if there is something going on with a certain amount of money or whatever, you're behind the screen. So, nobody knows who you are, nobody can discriminate against you. And if you're an entrepreneur, all you got to do is cater yourself to certain people and price yourself the right way in order to attract the clients that you want to get. I'm not going to push for anybody to get a job. That don't make sense to me. Like even for if you're into stuff like I'm into, if you're into law and stuff like that, I recommend, like, I'm not going to say exactly what my dad does, but he has a degree in paralegal services. So, like, he knows about that stuff and he can write documents and write paperwork and stuff like that. So, if you have your degree in paralegal work, or if you do have your straight up law degree, I'm not going to tell you to go get a job at a law firm. I can tell you to open up your own practice, and I can tell you to open up your own whatever type of side hustle you want to do in order to help people in the law industry. That's what I'll tell you to do. I'm not going to tell you, hey, cut your hair and go get a job here. You'll make six figures. I'm not going to guarantee you make six figures with being an entrepreneur in that exact way. I'm not going to guarantee that in the first year. But we're talking about legal documentary work, okay? So you're going to make good money. You're going to make good money regardless, okay? But that's the whole high value man stuff. And that's why I couldn't get with what he was saying all the time. Because it's like he was shitting on females in a disrespectful way. And he even when he was talking about the whole high value man thing and how to do that, he wasn't giving y'all the right direction. Zimrold said, yo, what's good, Zim? Because I could tell you exactly how to be a high value man. However, I'm a feminine, so I'm not trying to do that. I'm intentionally speaking to feminines when I say things like high value motherhood and high value this and that when I talk about feminine work. So knowing the basics of how to cook, and that it helps when you do have things like a garden or a homestead, because you're growing the foods that you're going to cook, and you grow a relationship with your foods. You learn how to preserve them, and you learn the different flavorings of the way that you preserve food. Like if you have a food that is pickled, or you have a food that is canned, or you have a food that you put in the freezer, it could be the exact same food. It'll all taste different. I don't think you can can cucumbers, but you can definitely pickle and freeze cucumbers. So you're gonna get pickles or frozen cucumbers. Those taste totally different. You could make a mean salad if you thaw out some frozen cucumbers, like, stuff like that. And I did open up a DM today from one of the goddesses who she said that I inspired her to start her own garden. She sent me a bunch of pictures of her cantaloupes and stuff like that. And that makes me very happy to see things like that. So I know I'm not, completely wasting my time. And I know I am making an impact, which makes me very happy. It's still the mass of it. I would like to see more people being genuine, because there's a lot of people who are on platforms like mine. It's not about clout, but I'm just making a point. They have way more numbers than me, a way bigger audience than me, who say similar things to the things that I say. However, they're not making the same impact that I have. They just have more clout. They just have more comments and a more engaged audience. I don't want an engaged audience. I want an active audience. I want people who do like that goddess, who send me pictures of what they got going on. Like, send me videos of your kids homeschooling and being like, they're saying their ABCs, and they're learning Spanish, they're learning Hebrew, they're learning whatever language you're teaching them. They know their numbers and stuff. Like, that's what I want to see. I'm not here just so people can say, "Oh, I love you, goddess." Okay, yeah, sure, that's great. Okay. Zimrul said, "How you been, goddess?" I'm great. Me personally, I'm great. My life's getting to where it's more stable. Because a lot of y'all know I went through some crazy stuff last year. Like, I was on live, and I wasn't arrested. I just had an encounter with the police, and I got in their car. And people thought that that was like something crazy that happened. I was like, nah, that was a universally aligned situation where I was sent as an example to show y'all you don't have to be afraid of police. They're literally sentient programs. And people thought that that was something big. I'm like, no, a whole bunch of stuff happened off of camera. And so, from all of that crazy stuff that was going on last year, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. Everything's quiet. I'm cooling. And I get to do things like even during that time as well. I didn't have my son with me. It wasn't a problem that I didn't have my son with me. It's just now that my son's back, because I don't talk about this situation either too much, but my son got taken away from his other parent because of child abuse. And I don't like talking about it a whole lot because it's just a lot that is going on. And so it doesn't put a damper on my spirits. It's unfortunate that now I have to work my life to where I can no longer co-parent with that person because they've become a harm to our child at this point. So it just is what it is with that. But I'm okay, me personally. It's just the people who be in my life just be, I don't know. So that's why I just go to myself a lot. I just stay to myself a lot. So I don't have to deal with people and their craziness. Cause just like even with the whole high value man thing, like it's not about money. Cause people who get money, like I used to get money with my ex. We used to get money. Money isn't the problem. It's people's mindsets. It's people's mindsets. You know, I'm a single mom, but I'm fine. Like I don't mind not making all the money that I was making before, having the ease of having a partner who can do this and then I can do that, and you know, things are supposed to be easier when you have a spouse. But being in that relationship made things a lot harder because they were not a righteous individual. We were going through some crazy stuff because of other people in our lives, which is, I get that, but that was supposed to make us stronger as a couple instead of turning on each other. And he decided to turn on me and join the other people who were causing bad stuff in my life. Glad to see you doing good. Facts. Yeah, appreciate it. And you know, I don't speak on a lot of things that happen to me personally. And when I do, I'm very strategic on how I do so. And most of the things I share anyway are like learning experiences that I want to share as a testimony and how other people can learn from them. Like that whole misery loves company thing. That's why I just be quiet. I'd be like, you know what? I ain't even go talk about it because I don't know. But it's really important that a lot of people really just get a grip on what's going on. Like I told y'all, I'm not gonna be on social media in the year 2025. I'm taking that year off. I am taking that year off. Sharon Walter said, hi, Sovereign Empress. First time here. I just subscribed to your channel. Much gratitude, Sharon. Peace to you, goddess. But yeah, I'm not going to be here in 2025. I'm not going to say exactly what my plans are for 2025. The only thing that I have shared with y'all is I'm working on a movie. So, you know, if you have some artwork that you would like displayed in the movie, if you have some sort of items that can be props in the movie, if you have some music for the soundtrack in the movie, you can hit me up for sure. But you best believe I'm not going to be on Instagram. I'm not going to be on YouTube. I'm not going to be on Facebook. I'm not going to be anywhere but my website. And I encourage y'all to do the same thing. I'll be back. But 2025, no. It doesn't make sense to be on social media that year. And if you don't have context, if you haven't watched that live stream, I highly recommend you watch it. 2025 is the year after a particular political competition. We all know what happens the year after these political competitions when we figure out who's supposed to be our political leaders. I'm not finna be involved in the internet crazes after that. Sharon Walter says, sending love from Jamaica. You're welcome, Empress. Okay, Jamaica. Wow, I just learned that. And people have been saying it. Oh, I love that. I love it. Okay, let me turn this on. I know somebody who just got some land in Jamaica. Like, I really love what's happening. And, that's why I don't say it's 100%. Like, where I just gotta trip off on people. It just be a good number of people where it makes me really frustrated. What you doing?
I'm trying to. Do you want some peanut butter right now? Just in case.
No, what you mean? No, I am making you some food. The food is fooding.
What do you mean food is fooding?
The food is fooding. That's what I mean. I love my son so much. Yo, if you have a Generation Alpha child, they are the best people, man. They are the most fun individuals. What do you mean the food is fooding? Oh, where's spatula? Okay. Gotta get my Mr. Krabs on. The spatula. And if you want more context on what exactly I was talking about when I was venting, it's on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, I will give you a brief summary of what I was venting about. Because, we're in this community and stuff, and it's cool. Like, I'm doing my thing. I tell people about gardening. I'm cooking. I'm setting an example. I homeschool my son. Like, I'm just here to be an example for ladies who have never seen something like this before, okay? Even those who have been enlightened, they still have not been exposed to certain things and certain types of individuals. So I'm just here to be that. And for those who have, I want them to feel like they're not alone. Like, even stuff like this, like, you're not alone, sis. Like, I'm here too. Like, it is what it is. We're here, and you're not wrong for intending to sun gaze for however long you want to sun gaze, because you're getting those downloads from solar. You're not wrong for even moon gazing and getting those lunar upgrades. I'm being straight up with y'all. It's not that guys cannot moon gaze. It's just that's more of a feminine thing. Lunar, Mawu from Mawu Lisa. Mawu is the moon goddess, so she's a goddess. Ra, Lisa, he is the sun goddess. So moon gazing is more how you get into with your divine feminine energy versus the masculine energy of the sun. Now, does that mean that guys cannot moon gaze? No, y'all just have to be more particular on the reasons you're doing it. This looks like way more potato than I had last time. That looks like the same size potato. I didn't think it was going to be that much bigger. Sharon said, Zemruld said, I could tell you grew a lot, LMAO. It's like you in a more flow state. I appreciate that, because, like, was just cool. This is how I got started. I was just cooling. I was like, hey guys, I am a Hebrew Israelite who is also part of the occult. And this is my expression of being able to know we are from the 12 tribes. We are the original people. We are the indigenous people, as well as being mystical, magical gods and goddesses. This is how I started my channel. And once I started meeting people, shit just got weird. It got weird and crazy. I was making daily videos of me reading Bible scriptures and me just talking about how certain things go. Because, like, in the New Testament, the whole New Testament is about Yeshua doing magic. That's the whole New Testament. The entire New Testament is Yeshua and the disciples doing magic. That's all it is. And so once I started breaking things down in that way, like some people, like even earlier, this Hebrew Israelite in my DMs was like, oh, Akat, are you doing tarot cards? Are you using tarot cards? No, don't do it. And I'm just like, first of all, you hit me up talking about you want to marry me. And I've been had this content on my page. You can't just like look at my face and hear me say shalom and think you want to marry me. That's not how this works. And I had been explaining to him how I'm like, yo, Spirit said no, we're not equally yoked. And he was like, at first he was trying to like argue about it. I'm like, first of all, I already told you Spirit said no. Like, we're not equally yoked. This relationship isn't going to work. Then after a while, he sees I do tarot cards and he's like, oh. And I'm like, see, I'm not finna go in your house and you try to talk to me about my spiritual practices that have helped me. Like, most Hebrew Israelites simply don't comprehend the occult and they're afraid of it because they cling on to scriptures that say divination is bad and stuff, but they don't read with context, and then they completely ignore scriptures that tell you to consult oracles for information. So that's what I be saying. I'm really tired. It's very exhausting because I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I meet people where they're at, and I specifically connect with people who are entrepreneurs and people who are, well, kingdom entrepreneurs, people who have their own businesses, and people who intend to do things for the community. That's all I'm doing. That's literally all I'm doing. And people have come against me for that. Or people try to argue certain points and stuff. Because I don't like making relationship content. I genuinely dislike making content about relationships, being that I am currently going through a divorce right now. So I just stay in my lane of talking about femininity and stuff like that. However, like, people will approach me with, because it'll be like dudes who think they have their life together because they have a wife. And it's like, you can't even trust those guys. They're toxic, a lot of them. Because why do you have a wife and you're texting me at like 2 a.m.? Spamming my phone at 2 a.m. And yet you want to argue with me about your feminine going 50-50 financially with you when my lifestyle, I live a lifestyle where I cannot provide 50-50 financially. Why? Homeschooling, gardening, and taking care of the home. That's a full-time situation going on there. Now, I do also run my own business. So once that becomes more profitable, will I be able to pay 50% of the finances? Sure. Am I going to? No. I'm going to invest that money. I'm going to put that into generational wealth. I'm going to build my business up. If I spend it on anything, I'll spend it on gardening materials for our food. By me gardening, you spend less money on groceries. Like, it's really simple math, and people make stuff really complicated. Sharon Water said, I love your spirit, Empress. What's your name on IG? I'll follow you. My Instagram is Real Talk with Ellie. Real Talk with 2Ks. Daryl Scott said, what we eating tonight? So in the pot over here, I have some SpaghettiOs. It's not anything I created. And then I have some diced potatoes here that I'm frying up. And also, y'all, Mercury retrograde is next week. All right. And I've been seeing a lot of feminines in the same energy that I'm in, as far as, just being high key fed up with certain behaviors from people. Because we expect certain people to act a certain way if they're not enlightened. That's just the way that unenlightened people act. When we talk about things like, MJ, why you watch your steps, sir? You would just. How it's supposed to be? I'm not trying to lean too close to the grill. I don't want my titty to get burnt. I should be good. Okay. I had lost my point I was saying. Okay, certain behaviors in the spiritual. Oh yeah, we expect Matrix people to act a certain way, right? Because they're not enlightened. They don't know this information. Like, for a lot of black people, they still believe that most black people came from Africa, when we know that a large amount of us were already here, indigenous to this land here. And so, even with that, like, you just can't expect certain black people to act a certain way because they simply lack knowledge and information, and that's okay. However, we in this spiritual space, man. Like, we're supposed to be enlightened. We know all this information. We over here calling ourselves kings, queens, gods, goddesses, emperors, and empresses. And then the Hebrews talking about Ak and Achwath, Akot, like, how are we speaking in a whole new language, yet we acting darn near worse than the people that we say that we're I don't say I'm better than them. I just say I'm more enlightened than they are. We're more enlightened. We have more information. We have more knowledge. About self. They're smart. A lot of them are smart. They have, they're intellectual. They're intellectual in the brainwashed fashion of the information that the system put them through. So we found knowledge of self, but that's my thing. How do we find knowledge of self and become just like the people that we're more enlightened than? That's the thing that confuses me. Because I don't like coming online and seeing people saying the same things they were saying 10 years ago. Like I said, I just got here. But if I go on somebody's page and I scroll down to 10 years ago, and they still saying the same thing in the video they made a week ago, I just feel like there's a problem there. Jim Rose said I can smell it through the phone. LMAO. No, for real, it's a portal. You probably can. Sharon Walters said, I'm a Pentecostal woman of God. I'm from Pentecostal. My family is Kojic on both sides, Church of God in Christ. And even a lot of us Pentecostals, like, there's a lot behind it. There's a lot behind it. Because that whole speaking in tongues thing, that's where the Hebrews, they have mixed arguments about it, and I agree with them on a lot of it, where a lot of people who speak in tongues, they're speaking Hebrew. They are. That's the language of the gods. So, and other people, they could speak literally, they could tap into other languages when they're speaking in tongues. So it's really cool. Derek Cullum said, peace, love, prosperity, health, and wealth to you, reflection, and to everybody in the chat. May the best continuously come upon you all. Much gratitude, Derek. You as well. Jermaine Wee said, my Mercury and Venus, does your sign of a planet on its retrograde mean something or something? Yeah. Yeah. So your Mercury is in Venus. Not Venus. Your Mercury is in Pisces. I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not even going to try to tell you all the stuff that goes on. I have Pisces in my South Node, and I know a couple of Pisces, so the best that I could tell you is just watch your emotions. Just watch your emotions. Just watch your emotions. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of advice. I'm just, based on what I know about Mercury retrograde and based on what I know about Pisces, just watch your emotions. You're going to be feeling a lot. So watch how you react based on those feelings. Zen said, what are we cooking today? Second time getting that question today. Similar to what we had on Instagram. Wait, were you on Instagram when I was doing that live? I don't think you were on that live. But it's diced potatoes, and I just made some SpaghettiOs. Those are sitting in the pot waiting for me to finish the potatoes. Daryl Scott said, what's your thoughts on what's going on in Hawaii? I had shared my thoughts on Instagram. I'm not popular opinion at all. I'm gonna be straight up with you. It's not gonna be like nice. So what I had said on Instagram and how I currently feel now is that, okay, so a lot of us on mainland United States, right? A lot of us just figured out who we are. A lot of us just got this information, a few years ago. At the most, like, a lot of us got it maybe 2 decades ago, right? A lot of us, we just didn't know this information. And then a whole lot of people came online once the 2020 shutdown happened. People in Hawaii have been known their information. When you go to Hawaii, you don't go to Hawaii to experience Seattle. You don't go to Hawaii to experience Miami. You don't go to Hawaii to experience, what's that place in Canada? Montreal. You don't go to Hawaii to experience New York, Atlanta, Dallas. You don't go there for that. You go to Hawaii to experience Hawaii. You go to Hawaii to experience the indigenous lands, to experience the cultural foods. You go there to experience their music. You go there to experience hearing their language, their instruments. You go there to watch them wear their native clothing. And you go there to get some of their native clothing. You buy it and you bring it back to your home city. So my concern is that, okay, they've been in tune with their culture this whole time. Yet, nobody, I haven't seen where anybody predicted that situation or where any preventions were thought about. Because the thing about certain types of situations, whether they're a natural disaster or a plot, someone's going to know about it. And there's going to be some sort of premonition. And I haven't seen any premonitions of it. It just seemed like it just all of a sudden happened. And I had already said that the submarine situation with those billionaires was a warning sign. Now, whether it was a message from Mother Nature or a plot against the Hawaiians, I am unsure of that. However, I'm just like, okay, a lot of us have come into our gifts fully very recently. Yet, we're still not even able to practice all of our indigenous culture yet because we are not aware of it. They're fully aware of it. So how in the world were they? It's like, That was a surprise attack, whether it was something happening from Mother Nature or it was a plot. And it's like when Mother Nature's about to do something, she'll tell us. So those are my thoughts on it. As far as why it happened, I don't know. I just know that they're on water, and the marine kingdom has been begging all of us to communicate with the aquatic beings, and most people haven't done it. I've been talking to them a lot, me personally. And in the video Conciliare, my last live stream, I was talking about the dream I had with the fish and the download with the fish and stuff. So what I'm getting right now, I'm literally just now getting this because you asked this question. It had a lot to do with mermaids. Now, to the extent of how mermaids were involved, I don't know. I was not given that information. Sharon Walters said, I strongly believe in keeping the Sabbath, Empress. Yes, the Sabbath is extremely important. So I'm not going to get into that too much. But yeah, keeping the Sabbath is of high importance as well. Let me see. It's almost sundown, so I'm good on this cooking. It's not sundown yet. Right back at you, Derek. Okay. Zen says, sounds great. Yep. Sharon Walters said, I'm 58 on July 24th, and I'm still learning about history and am for the truth about lots of things. That's beautiful. That's genuinely amazing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of us we just didn't know this information. So how is it that the Hawaiians, people literally vacation and go there on purpose to experience Hawaii? So how are people going to Hawaii and the Hawaiians are not in tune with their spiritual gifts? It's almost like because it's such a destination spot for vacation, their culture darn near became purely performative. And I'm not saying that to diss them. They're indigenous just like us. They're Israel just like us. So I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm just being for real. Like, y'all didn't see this coming? That was a big attack. Like I said, whether it was from Mother Nature or not, that was really big. And nobody was able to predict it. Maybe you couldn't prevent it, but nobody put in, because like I said, it was a surprise. When Florida be having hurricanes, people be knowing. And of course, we can track water different than we track volcanoes and fires and stuff, but like the native Floridians know, they're aware. They can feel the waters change. They can feel the air. They can taste it in the air, and they be like, oh, y'all, we gotta go. But in Hawaii, it's like, so y'all don't got that? You know, I'm not dissing. I'm just being real. That was shocking to me. I'm not shocking that the thing happened at all. I'm not shocked about that at all. I'm not shocked. Because Gaia's tired. Gaia's tired. Like, she's getting treated so crazy. She's getting treated so crazy. Like when I say things like, okay, we should compost or we should grow our own food and stuff like that, people try to fight against it, and they'll fight to keep having processed food, or even like not composting. They just want to put food in the trash can instead of putting it. Do you know how much methane and like chemicals come from food that is decomposing? And people think fumes are just fumes, like, oh, that old food stinks. It's deeper. There's a reason that the food stinks. It needs to go in the soil. It needs to go in the soil so that it can decompose and be nutrients and food for whatever wildlife is out there and for the new plants. That's the only thing that makes sense. Yet that type of stuff is argued against. And people like to focus on things like going to war and the system crashing without even having a strategy or a plan. War is 2% battle and artillery and weapons, and 98% business. And that's what I was talking about on my live stream earlier. And that one I didn't save. They cut off my live on Instagram because they want to be mean to me. So I was only able to speak for an hour before I had to start my live again, and I didn't say the second one. But war, the whole I want to go to war mentality, you have to have a strategy. Okay, are you the sergeant? Are you the general? Do you have your privates in order? Do you have a military base? Do you have a healing sector? Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself before you sit up here on this internet talking about, I want to go to war. I want the system to crash. Okay, system crash. Do you have your resources saved? Do you have a place to store whatever ammo is necessary? Do you have these skills necessary for holistic healing? Because we're not going to have regular hospitals anymore? Okay, well, I mean, me personally, MJ, stop yelling. Me personally, I don't have the patience to keep hearing people say the same things without providing solutions. I provided the solutions for people who say stuff like that. You want to go to war? Okay, cool. Let's get this base over here, and then we can store up these resources like this, and then we can do the whoop. Okay, let's go. Yet when I provide those solutions, people pull back, but they still publicize that they want to go to war. Like, they'll still verbalize it on their platforms and leave my DM. Either I'm blocked, or they'll leave me on red, or they won't reply, whatever it is. And I'm like, I am providing a solution to your concern here. You're complaining publicly, but you're not doing anything about it. Zen said the plan has been fed up for a while now. And I was saying this earlier too. If I'm doing the simple stuff I'm doing, telling people to compost, garden, simple things, and people are treating me the way they're treating me, imagine how the celestial beings feel. Like I was saying earlier with the elder I was watching on YouTube, he was talking about how, oh, they're dying, they're being taken off the planet, they're having all these illnesses, they're allergic to the sun. I'm like, imagine how much more progress would have been had we been in order. People want to argue with me, and they want to keep eating these processed foods. Okay, the sun could have been upgraded to a certain point, and the celestial beings could have been assisted to certain extents had our bodies and avatars been ready. But since people keep wanting to clog up their system and not do any sort of cleanses and have a routine of eating healthy, they can only do so much. So imagine how frustrated the celestial beings are in the marine kingdom. The marine kingdom want to bring all type of justice, but they can't because our people are in the way. Freethinker said convenience. Ali, yep. Sharon Walter said, I'm trying to figure out who I am. I dream every morning at 3 a.m. and these dreams always happen. So 3 a.m. is the witching hour. Don't be like spooked by it. But so depending on what's going on, you could be experiencing certain levels of awakening as far as who you are, enlightenment, and or I'm just being real with you, it could be certain spiritual attacks, spiritual warfare. And so you may want to just like meditate and talk to God about it and see exactly what's going on, and he'll reveal it to you. As far as like figuring out who you are, it's a lot, because when it comes to our people, we have so much information that was hidden from us and taken away and stolen purposely. And so figuring out who we are through our ancestry is just that much harder, because that information was hidden from us intentionally. So if you can, just talk to your family members if you're still in contact with them. And if you're not, just do what you can. Ask God and your spirit team to reveal who your ancestors are, because there's a lot of spiritual gifts that our ancestors had that were not properly passed down to the next generation. So when you get in tune with those gifts and you're able to utilize them properly, like you have the spiritual gifts. If I'm not mistaken, is it in Matthew? I think it's in Matthew, where they're talking about prophecy, words of wisdom, words of knowledge, and different things like that. You're able to say certain things. So when these psychic people say things like I'm channeling information or I got a download, that's words of wisdom, words of knowledge that they're getting from the esoteric realms. And then people who are able to predict the future, that's prophecy. You did something?
Yeah, I was just checking on the food.
Oh, you checking on the food. Why are you checking on the food?
Because I was just seeing how was it doing.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't see that.
When you got kids, like I'm telling you, Gen Alpha is the best, man. Like I'm checking on the food. I'm just seeing how it's doing. Okay. Okay. Free Thinker said compost, yep, the worms. Welcome to this awakening. I don't think we have any of that LETBH. We're so solo based majority. That's what I'm saying. They want to go to war. And I'll be like, bro, y'all don't, okay. Cause even saying, where he say? He was in some foreign country talking about he did time over there. Well, not did time, but he served over there and stuff, right? And I'm like, well, you should be the first one to know that everybody's on BS. Unless you're a groundsman, they don't teach the groundsmen all the information. You have to have. There's a reason. There's a hierarchy. You have your organizers, and you have your planners, and you have your stalkers. You have your people who get the artillery. You have your people who supply the artillery to everybody who's necessary. It's not just everybody get your AKs and your Uzis and go boop, boop, boop. Like that's not how this is gonna work. That's so disorganized. Strategic planning. Like people swear I'm playing chess, not checkers. Yeah, no you're not. No you're not. I know you're being redundant, but hey, it's simple as that. Me and people like you get it. I know. I can't stand when I feel myself repeating myself, and I just be like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. Like I said, I didn't like watching the elder. Like he had some bits and pieces in there that were necessary for me to know, so that I know I'm in alignment with certain energies. It was just like, oh, it's time for war. This is war energy. Okay, well, is everybody ready? No. So no. Ray with the alien faces. Free thinkers said they created so many blockages and obstacles. Sharon Walter said, yes, I'm coming under a lot of spiritual warfare, Empress. It's a lot right now. And then we have Mercury retrograde coming up next week. So I'm not going to say it's going to increase. It might stay the same. It's just I'm going to say it like this. If you have been confused of where the spiritual warfare is coming from, you're not going to be confused anymore. It's going to be loud and clear, and it may upset you. It may upset you. Because like I was saying earlier, I'm going through legal situations with my son's father right now, and I prefer not to be doing that. I did not fart.
Okay, Farty did.
I did not. Get off my back. There's a hot grill right here. I prefer to not be going through this situation right now. However, it is what it is, and I have to take care of whatever business I have to take care of to make sure everything's dealt with properly. But at the same time, it's not just my ex. It's not just his girlfriend. And it's not just their lawyers. My own mother was conspiring against me with my ex to try to make it difficult for me to get my son back when there's not a custody battle going on. I wasn't arguing. I wanted to co-parent. I wanted my son to have a relationship with his father. I wanted for there to be harmony in the way that he interacts with his masculine parent and his feminine parent. I desired that. I was totally fine with him staying with his dad. I was even fine with him going to public school for that reason. Otherwise, when he's with me, he homeschools. Then to find out that my son had to get taken out of school, he had to be taken out of the home, he was in the custody of the state, he had to get taken to a whole nother city to go to the hospital to get an exam without me with him. And then the state calls me and it's like, okay, well, we want to bring you your son back, but or we want you to pick up your son, but your mom said this about you and this, that, and we're going to have you go to the psych ward to get some evaluations, and we're going to have you to take your son to the doctor to get this done. I'm like, why? You're my mom. Why would you tell the government this information when, okay, so you're telling me that my ex lost the baby. He lost him. And he has to go to the other parent. And now you're trying to make it difficult for the other parent to get him. And I'm your daughter. I'm your actual daughter. Not daughter-in-law. I'm your actual daughter. And you're coming against me and partnering with my ex when he gets nothing from this situation. I didn't ask for custody or nothing like that. I did not call CPS. MJ, watch your feet. You did this twice. I did not make that phone call. The school did. So why am I being punished for his fault problems? So that's why I say you might be very, very disappointed in where the spiritual warfare is coming from. If people can attack your physical life, excuse me, Pepper. Okay, if people can't attack your physical life, because like even what she said, like I went to the mental health. I went through the mental health evaluation. I was fine. Y'all see me with my son. I ain't got no issues. So if they can't attack you physically, they'll try to attack you spiritually. Like, it's really sad. I don't know what she stands to gain from that. I don't know why she would do that. And then I'm not even talking about the stuff that I went through during my childhood being at her house. And it's like that wasn't enough. She had to try to come into my adulthood and try to hurt me that way. Like, it doesn't make sense. So that's the sad thing about it. I didn't start, I started having like these attacks and stuff from people in the spiritual community a little while ago, but that ain't got nothing on what my own family and like my previous church family was doing to me when I was younger. That's why it's like you got to get out of churches because they're covens, they're undercover covens. Like, they speak bad about witchcraft and magic and stuff, but they're constantly doing magic and witchcraft all the time in a negative way. I don't mean the positive stuff. Where it's like, if you believe that communion is a good thing to participate in, okay, communion is a ritual because you're eating the flesh and drinking the blood of Yeshua Christ. That's a ritual. People dressed up in robes, and it's done every first Sunday or every Sunday, however often. That's a ritual, okay? It's a ceremony, it's a ritual. Religious people don't like hearing things like that. They're doing magic all the time. So when they get in their church lady groups and they gossip about people in a negative way, that's witchcraft. Whether they know it or not, a lot of them are very, very conscious of this. They know. And they have prayer groups and they pray and try to control people's lives. They don't pray that, oh God, may your will be done in this person's life. They don't even be saying that. They say, oh God, like let's say it's a gay person, right? Because we don't talk bad about LGBTQ plus people. We know they have their place. If you're confused about what I mean by that, just look up in the Bible eunuchs. It starts with the letter E. I'm pretty sure it's spelled EUNICK. Just look up eunuchs. They're very, very holy people within the spiritual space, okay? So we don't just talk crap about LGBTQ plus people. We just leave them where they are. But let's just say it's a gay person, right? And they're like, oh God, make them straight, make them like the opposite gender, this, that. And like, they could have a calling on their life where they're not meant to have children in this lifetime. They could be in a situation where they're meant to be a single person who is completely life devoted to their spiritual practice. So whether you agree with being gay or not, it may not be meant for them to have children. They only want people to be straight so that they can have more children. Okay, like I said, in my situation, me having a child, my mom was trying to make it difficult for me to have my child back from getting abused. So what's actually going on here? Free will. Church people don't know, they don't want you to have free will. Okay. Free Thinker said, I gotta be the sergeant, the general, foot soldiers by myself for my intermediate family, lol. I know, right? It's so tiring. We be so tired. I'm not gonna tell you to keep going. You're already gonna do it. I'm just saying. Let me turn these noodles on. SpaghettiOs, just so they can warm up, and then I can make my son's food. Cause I'm done now. Where's the spoon at? Okay. Sharon Walters said, I talked to God about it and tell me in a vision that he will put mighty men to watch over me. Okay. I didn't grow up with blood relatives because my mother and father abandoned me. My goodness. That's a whole different aspect of things. Like, I talked to this one God, and he's rather young, so he's just now getting out of his foster situation. Trying to. Like, he still lives with them, but he's an adult now, so he's trying to get out of that. And this, like, the blood bond isn't even there for people to kind of halfway care. And so it's like, yo, it's that's a whole different thing there. Peace be with you. Zen said, I got an uncle. He did time for a few of them. Oh, he did time, a few of them really, but this one in particular who came out, and instead of coming out to change his life around, he's out bullying civilians, police, and gangbangers. Some people just never learn. Like I said, Matrix people are Matrix people. You can't really expect much from them. It's sad, but it just is what it is. Free Thinker said, I salute you. At least you're aware and doing what's necessary. Sharon Walters said, the little I know is my mother's side of the family are... Is that morons or maroons? I'm honestly hoping maroons, and that's a tribe that I'm unaware of. But if it's morons, then that's unfortunate. And my mom's side is crazy. Like, the whole... I'm not even going to get into that, but they just be tweaking. Since said, my mom put me on a 72-hour hold, which turned into 2 weeks. Blood mom, by the way. What's this? What's a hold? What does that mean? Put you on a hold. JC said, dirty ass kid, just stop playing. That's why I don't eat from everybody. Okay, bro. Like, you come on my page to hate on me constantly. Like, okay. You can go live your life, man. You don't have to be over here. Daryl Scott said, bless you. Gratitude, you as well. Sharon Walters said, I'm so sorry you have to go through so much pain in prison. I appreciate the empathy and sympathy. We making it through this. Making it through this. Zen said, mom's jealous of their daughters. That is, like, it's so weird to me. Like, I don't have a daughter yet. So when I get one, I'm going to see what that experience is. But even, like, when my son has certain situations go on, like, I'll visibly... Like, when I have my intuition happen with different situations, right? His is a lot stronger than mine. And I'll be like, whoa, okay. And I'm happy to see that my strengths in him are stronger in him than they are in me. I don't imagine it to be different if I had a girl. I just don't get the difference. Andre 3000 said, peace reflection. I love myself. Peace. Freethinker said, so are you religious, Ellie, or not? No, I'm not religious. I'm a sovereign being. I don't subscribe to any particular religion. Like, I believe we are Israel, but that's a bloodline. That's not a religion. Sharon said, I was molested in 4 homes from a young child, and it continues until about 17 years old. I grew up damaged and pissed. My goodness. Like, that stuff. This ain't for the weak. It's really not. Like, this walk, this enlightenment, it's not for the weak at all. And I'm glad you're here. Freethinker said, I get that perspective. Sharon Walters said, I'm learning from you, Empress. And I'm glad to be here for you. Michael Johnson said, hey, Ellie, trust. I just finished cooking and making deviled eggs. That's dope. That's dope. 313 Dismissive said, why? Okay, it's time for me to leave. Once the weirdos start coming on the live, once I have 2 weirdos on my live, it's time for me to go. I finished cooking anyway, so I was going to leave, but once we got 2 weirdos in the chat, it's time to go. It's time to go. Oh, 72 hours in a psych ward. I was in there for a day because my mom too. Like, she had sent me over there. It was for a few hours. And the people at the psych ward were like, well, why are you here? I was like, my mom just wants me to be here. They're like, you all right? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm going through problems, but they're not psychologically based. Like, there's situations in my life happening to where my life is difficult. And they got, they did a little interview. They wrote down their, they asked me questions and wrote down my answers and stuff. And they were just like, yeah, you can go. I'm like, yeah, I know I can go. Like, I'm not tripping. I got bad things happening in my life. That doesn't make me mentally ill. Freethinker said, oh, okay, then. Oh, yeah, with the Israel response. Yeah, like, I'm not, like, with them Hebrew nigga, like I said earlier, I think before you got in the chat, there's this Hebrew Israelite dude, he trying to marry me, and I told him no, but I read his DM, the last one he sent, because I left him on red, and he messaged me again, and I read it, and he was like, oh, are you doing tarot cards or cut? No, don't do those. And I'm just like, why do you think I told you no? Like, you don't believe what I believe in. Okay, if you believe you're from the 12 tribes, I believe you're from the 12 tribes. We don't have the same spiritual practice, though. You're afraid of divination, and I know that divination is necessary. So don't talk to me then. Zen said, no, it's not for the weak, not even in the slightest. Oh, Freethinker said, I'm just listening while I play the game. LOL. I wish people get it. I know, man. Like, we really just be chilling. We be like, I'm making food and I'm cooling, and that for some reason that's amazing. Me making food is amazing. Because a lot of people can't make food. My son knows how to make food. I teach my son how to make his own food. What you got going on? You ready? Yep. Okay, this is ready now. It's good and warmed up. Okay. I'm finna get your food in a second, MJ. Derek McCullum said, Derek Cullum said, have a great weekend reflection. You too. King Sage said, what you cooking? I made some SpaghettiOs and some diced potatoes. Freethinker said, I don't even pay the weirdos attention. Like, it's so strange because they be real people. How are you a real person behaving this way? It's so weird. No. Okay. King Sage said, amazing. This said, probably incels. Like, I don't, listen. When it comes to that, Because if I'm interpreting incel the same way that you're saying it, or the way I'm thinking it, if it's the same that you're saying it, like, what type of world do we live in? Where people are so like sexually frustrated that they can't think straight. Don't make no sense. Sharon said, Empress, I'm leaving now. I'll catch up with you again. I will surely watch your videos and like on them. Goodbye, pure soul. Much gratitude, Sharon. I greatly appreciate you, Goddess. Shalom. Charles Allen said, you're a real one, and most of us really love and appreciate you. I appreciate that a lot. Much gratitude. Much gratitude for that. I'm finna go too, y'all. Like, I got the food ready. It's done. And we already had our 2 weirdo checkpoint for the people who are not very pleasant in the comment section. But a lot of you guys have really made my evening. I'm glad to have been able to speak to you guys. And so, yeah, I will see you in the next one. Send me notifications when you're live. So you could turn on the notifications on my thing, and you follow my Instagram. So I post a story every time I'm finna go live on here. All right. So yeah, you got that. All right. 13 viewers and 13 likes. Greatly appreciate y'all. Shalom, Rain Coins. I will see you in the next one. King says that infinite bliss. Yes.